Hi and welcome to COMX-TV. We're your weekly guide to the comic book world.
I'm Steve Przybyla.
And I'm Mike Rizzo. Each and every week, we, as a couple of fans, bring you the best in comics news, reviews, and everything else in the comic book industry. Let's go on to our comic book news.
A couple of fans.
Oh.
We have a ton of news this week, so let's not waste any time. Image Comics co-founder Rob Liefeld has announced a new imprint to be published by Image called Maximum Press. Maximum Press is designed to publish comics and graphic novels outside of traditional superhero fare. The first title, War Child, is a sword and sorcerer sci-fi tale from Liefeld. It will be written by Liefeld and Eric Stevenson with the artwork provided by Team Youngblood. Although, on the surface it appears to be a totally new direction for the Image crew, one look at the artwork tells us it will probably be a typical Image fare.
Another publisher that is diversifying is NBM out of New York. NBM claims to be the only publisher that has released comics in book length and form since 1976. Terry Nantier, publisher, explained the mission of this comics lit imprint to publish the best actual stories outside genres in books that explore our lives, our feelings, our experiences. These books will be at times uplifting or at times controversial, but will always be insightful and enriching. Comics lit books will come from all over the world. The first book released under this imprint is The Streak of Chalk by M. Prado. Stay tuned as I will be reviewing this book later in the show.
AC Comics debuts a new title in November called Horror House. Issue number 1 of this 36-page black and white book features a cover by Wallace Wood. Stories of the bizarre and mystifying can be found within these pages of Horror House. Sewer Monster, The Painted Beasts, The Subway Horror, The Werewolf, The Warshami Manor round out the stories in this issue. All these stories are from pre-code books that are now skyrocketing in value. $2.95 and out in November, so get your orders in now.
Okay, our first review today is Optic Nerve number 7 from Adrian Tomine. He does everything on it. It's $2. It's a digest-sized comic with full color covers. It's a collection of short stories ranging in length from 1 to 6 pages. 24-page book including the letter page. It's an excellent artwork with interesting, quirky stories. His style allows many of his characters to look very similar in their facial features. I enjoyed this book a great deal, and has an apparent mix of fiction and autobiography. Apparently, Adrian has struck a deal with comics publisher Drawn and Quarterly, and in spring of 1995 they're going to be releasing his first full-size comic. So I definitely look for it, and I recommend this book. Okay, next I've got Widow, number 3 of 3. It's from Ground Zero Comics. Mike Wolfer is the creator and publisher and everything else. It's $2.50. 24-page story with very graphic art. Part 3 of the second miniseries features Emma the Black Widow and her boyfriend, FBI agent or Inspector Drew. It's a very good story about how they're trying to escape the government who's after Emma, who apparently in her Black Widow state has killed several people. If you like a different kind of non-superhero book with blood, gore, and a bit of eroticism, check this one out. In January, Ground Zero will be releasing the first 6 issues of the series in a monthly all-ages format. And early in 95, see the third part of the series. Definitely recommended.
Okay, for my first one this week, I'm going with The Prowler, number 1 from Marvel. Carl Potts is the writer, Bill Reinhold is the artist, and Willie Schubert is the inker. Cost is $1.75. Here we go, another caped crusader coming to the big city with a special appearance by none other than Spider-Man, because Prowler was occasionally a special guest in the Spider-Man series. The story of this one was very poor. I would actually think twice about picking this one up. The artwork was even worse than the story. It's very sketchy. It almost looks like it's not completed work. The storyline here you go, you got your basic one Prowler versus the other Prowler, and Spider-Man trying to help the good Prowler destroy the bad Prowler. Same series you're getting all the time. This one I would think twice about buying, and I would seriously just open it up and maybe close it back in the store and buy something worthwhile. That's my first one. My second one, Michael currently wears the shirt every now and then. Wetworks, number 3 from Image. Brandon Choi is the writer and the artist. Joe Chiato is the inker. Cost is $1.95. New story about Wetworks, a covert action team versus bloodthirsty vampires trying to take over the world. Here we go, another vampire story. But I like the way this one depicts vampires, and I like Wetworks. I didn't understand fully what they were, but their costumes are actually like a liquid that coats their bodies. It's really unique. The story in this one was good, and the dialogue was very good. The artwork in this one is excellent. Very, very well drawn and well written. Color in this one was excellent. Target audience on this one, I'd have to go with Image fans or people trying out new, different series. I would highly recommend this one, and definitely take a look at this one.
All right, next I've got Tomato. It's number 1 from Starhead Comics. It's done by Ellen Forney. It's $2.75. Most of the stories seem to be autobiographical, with some stories that seem to be written from her inner thoughts or her inner subconscious or something. Her art is rather simple, similar to many of the black and white biographical cartoonists. Overall, I like the book and her style. It's not for everyone, though, with the definite adult themes and artwork, but I do recommend that one. Next is Tales from the Edge, number 4 from Vanguard Comics. It's done by various people as it's an anthology. It's $2.95. 32-page book on a better stock paper. Anthology collection of 4 different stories by J. David Spurlock, Baron Story, Pat Boyette, and Marshall Arisman. Rick Montana, Space Cowboy, and Stinger Ray are the best of the bunch. The art overall is very good, although I dislike the story by Baron Story. I don't like it at all. It's very hard to read, very hard to see. This book is worth a look. It's from Vanguard, and it's published quarterly. And next I've got Sick Smiles number 2, not 6, but Sick Smiles number 2 from IE Comics. Scott Alley is the writer, with various different artists, including Alley doing the penciling and inking. $2.50. Various stories, including a werewolf story. Decent artwork with a nice variety of stories. Lots of detail in the artwork, yet it is clean and simple enough that you can see everything. It doesn't get lost like some black and white books do. This collection is worth a look, as Alley creates some interesting stories without any superheroes at all.
Ooh, something different. Okay, for my next one, I want you to check something out first, so check this out. Alright, wasn't that cool? Doesn't make you want to just run out and get the game.
Makes me
okay, my next one is Mortal Kombat. I know the Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2, which the video you just seen has basically nothing to do with it, but yes it does. Mortal Kombat number 2 from Malibu. Charles Marshall is the writer. Patrick Rollo is the artist and the inker. Cost us $2.95. The battle for the immortal Book of Power continues between the combatants, and now the secret of Raiden is revealed, and he is revealed to fight all evil, including the evil Scorpion, who's coming back. Well, everything in this book was excellent. I'm not just saying it because I like Mortal Kombat, but I'm saying it because this book was well drawn, well written, well everything. In issue number 3, hint, hint, they are going to show and release all the new characters from Mortal Kombat 2, the game. They are going to be released into the book in Mortal Kombat, and they are joining the competition. So I had to get that little jab in there, but anybody for target audience on this one, I have to go with anybody who enjoys video games or likes high impact type of books where there's a lot of fighting, a lot of twists to the story. This one I gave a very good grade for. Definitely pick this one up. My next one, Hellshock, #1 from Image. Jay Lee is the writer and the artist. The cost is $1.95. Next to this one, I'm giving a huge question mark. All I can make out of this book is some little boy had a very, very violent childhood, a lot of violence in the family, grows up, storyline takes place, these nuns are out on the front porch of a church, something's wrong with the priest, the police go in there, and here's this character Hellshock who's got hair up to here and this red cross on his face, and there's a dead priest next to him. And he's confessing his sins to this dead priest. Really weird, really far out, 9 pages, poor rating. I mean, Jay Lee has come out with some fabulous work, but this, forget it. It's not worth it, not worth the money. Pass on that one.
You had a Jay Lee picture somewhere for Hellshock.
Yeah, Hellshock's over here. It's somewhere down there.
Does it show, did he kill the priest? Or
No, it doesn't explain. All that they show is this Hellshock standing next to the priest, talking to him, and there's this big red splotch on the altar, and the priest's head is angled, and he's dead. I mean, and the police come in and find Hellshock kneeling next to the priest at the altar. It doesn't explain nothing. It doesn't show nothing. I'm assuming that he killed the priest. This is my assumption. Of course, I could be wrong, which I probably am, but it made no sense. Heads or tails, it just made no sense. I mean, then they go into showing all different drawings of Hellshock, pictures of Hellshock, which I'd rather see more of a story than just basically pictures of something, you know. If you're paying money, you want a storyline. This
right.
had nothing.
Typical for many Image books. There's a lot of pictures, pinups. Now we're going to bring you a feature we're going to carry for the next few weeks. These are the winners and the
Losers.
presenters of the 1994, it's actually the 1993 Harvey Awards down at the Dallas Fantasy Fair. We've got the video here,
Well,
and
why don't you explain what the Harvey Awards are?
there's approximately 6 major awards given out in the comic book industry. There's the Harveys, there's the Eisners, which are given out by Will Eisner at the San Diego Comic Convention. There's Wizard, there's the Comics Buyer's Guide Fan Awards, and there's the Diamond Comic Distributors Awards. I believe that's all of them. Capital City might give some out too. Well, those are the awards, and out of them all, Harvey and Eisner are the longest running and the most respected in the industry. And many of the attendees are either past winners, nominees, and it's a dinner. Then they get
It's like
to
the Emmys for comic books.
right,
Plain and simple.
Presenting in the category of Best Syndicated Strip, one of the creative talents behind Love and Rockets, Jaime Hernandez.
Syndicated strips. I like them. Can I do the nominees? Very good. The nominees for Best Syndicated Strip is Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson, Doonesbury by Gary Trudeau, The Far Side by Gary Larson, Stephen by Doug Allen, and Zippy by Bill Griffith. And the award goes to Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes. Accepting for Bill Watterson is Ken Smith.
I I believe I'll hold this hostage and see if we can't get Bill to show up one of these years. Thank you.
I'm better than you. I've always been better. I can beat you, Clay. Now you hit it, and you better hit it fast. I won, Clay. I won.
Every show we try to bring you a feature called Dual Review. This week we have The Punisher meets Archie. There was 2 versions put out. This one is the Marvel Comics version. It's #1. It was $3.95. Written by Bat and Lash. Artist was John Buscema, and the inker was Tom Palmer. Overall, this is a pretty good book. It has a nice cover. It had a die-cut cover on it, which added, I think, $1 to the cost. Archie was printed on a just regular, basically the same kind of paper, just newsprint.
But it had a different cover.
Right, it had a regular plain Archie cover. Now, the difference in the 2 books, originally when we got the press release on it, I thought that they were each going to do the same story, but in their own style.
Yeah, the Archie style and then the Punisher style.
What it is each portion of the book is done. When it's Archie, it's done in the Archie style.
When they show the Punisher, it's done in the Punisher style.
Right,
It's,
and then the
it's
Marvel
really unique. Something you don't see every day in a comic book.
48 pages, no ads, and it was a decent story how the Punisher goes chasing this guy who looks like Archie, and they run into Archie and they think it's him, and Archie helps catch this guy and stuff.
Typical good guy and bad guy, and
Right.
goofy guy comes in the middle, screws it all up, and then makes it all right again.
And this leads right into the Batman Punisher.
crossover.
Right after this, they're on their way. What's his friend there?
Reggie?
No,
Michael.
Yeah,
Michael.
Microchip. Yeah, they're on their way in their van to go
Meet up with Batman. It's pretty neat at the crossovers they got intertwining with each other. It's something different, something Marvel thought up, and they've had a couple bummer crossovers, but this one I think was really, really good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
really liked
not
it.
sure how it sold, but it was a good story, and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot too.
Okay.
I give that one a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Check it out.
It's too bad we both liked it. And we're going to continue in this vein because we've got so many books, because over the past few weeks, if you've been watching, we've been showing repeats because we've had some technical and equipment problems and scheduling problems, and we haven't been able to get a new show on the air. So we're trying to catch up. We've got tons of books. We've got a few more here. Steve's got a few more, and we're going to wrap up today's show. Next, I got Streak of Truck from NBM, the Comics Lit imprint. This is a graphic novel. It's done by Miguel Angel Prado. Yeah. It's $15.95. It's a big book. There's 86 pages. It's a big story. It's their first release under the new imprint, as we told you in the news. The story is based on bits and pieces from different novels that he's read to create, and a story involving an uncharted island, Anna, who's a visitor to the island, Sarah, one of the island's inhabitants, and Raul, another visitor, who falls in love with Anna while he's there, but she doesn't fall for him. Or does she? Well, read the novel. What he does is he does it all in pastels, and he does it on different colored paper depending on the mood of the scene. So it's kind of neat. I highly recommend it. It's expensive, but their books are very, very good. So take a look. You know, if you like that type, it's no superhero, no blood or guts or anything. Next, I've got a quick one, The Realm of Satan. It's #1 from Chad Shears. It's $2. Interesting stories that include a turd possessed by the devil. Goofy, sometimes funny. It's mediocre art. It's not worth the $2 though.
What's possessed by a devil?
A little piece of poo-poo.
Oh, interesting. Were they praying to a toilet bowl or Lord of Flusher?
It's goofy.
Okay, for my next one, I got 2 to go. I'm going with Aquaman, #0, seeing as it is still 0 month. From DC, Peter David is the writer. cost us $1.50. This new story takes another twist. Here's the King of the Sea. As you know, last I reviewed, he lost a hand due to piranha being hungry, basically. Now, he has a new hand, but before I show you what the hand looks like, he goes into this spastic world in his mind, trying to separate who's hurting him and who's not. All his friends, are they worth being friends, or are they trying to hurt him? His wife sits here, she's married to Manta now. And if you can remember, Manta's the one who always threw that big spear that always came back to him and killed all these dolphins and this and that, and they had this big war. He thought he killed Manta, but he's dreaming all this. It's really wild. But at the end of this story, Aquaman makes his way back to the Aqua Cave, and as you know, if you've been following, the Aqua Cave, that's what it's called. Bat Cave, Aqua Cave, Flash Cave, whatever. He had Manta's spear at his Aqua Cave, mounted on the mantle, basically over his nice little water fireplace. But he ends up cutting that down, strapping it onto his hand, and he asks, last picture of the book, do you think it's too much? It's an awesome saying as he's standing there with the spear hanging out of his hand. This book was well written. It explained everything, which I really liked, and I would definitely pick this one up if you can find it. And it's going to be tough to find. So I give that a high rating. For my last one, Guy Gardner, number 0, again for 0 month, from DC, again. Bo Smith is the writer, Mitch Bird is the artist, and Dan Davis is the anchor. Cost us $1.50. Finally, the discovery of Guy Gardner Warrior's true identity and the ultimate race he was created from is explained. Now, I never followed Guy Gardner. Yeah, I never liked Guy Gardner, I'll be honest. But Guy Gardner Warrior is more of a more violent character than the original Guy Gardner. The story of this one was good. It was good for reading. It was good for the art, the color, the humor. Everything was good, except it lacked something. There was something missing in this book. They explain where he comes from, but they still didn't explain everything. DC fans or Guy Gardner fans would like this book. My overall grade, I'm going to give it a good, but like I said, it still lacks something, so think twice.
Okay, I've got a couple more, including Diebold. Number 1, who's this by? This is by Silent Partners. It's John Holland doing the writing and Brian Clifton doing the art. $2.95. This book catches your eyes immediately with covers by Sam Keith and Mike Zeck. They got some big names doing the covers. The characters include Ed the Head on a stick, is that Rollins? I believe it's Rollins, and Juniper. The search for Ed's body provides a good, different story with very bone/Gru look to it. The uniqueness of the book is that it's complemented by the creator selling each page's artwork in order to fund the whole comic book. All the pages were sold before they ever printed the book. And it's pretty good. I like the artwork, I like the style, and I definitely recommend this book.
Ed the Head on a stick.
Lastly, our last review today is called War Sluts. It's number 1 from Pretty Graphic Comics. Phineas Taylor. That's it. Well, let me tell you, it's $3.95. Bit pricey. It's a porno story about war sluts, a TV show set in 1994, which is supposed to be the future. It's a time when World War II never ended. The art and story are mediocre at best, but they're printed on glossy paper. The publisher believes this will become a cult classic. I highly doubt it. The only reason this book may sell is apparently the person that's doing this is a famous rock star.
But they don't
know
say
who it is. That's why they've got this fake name.
I think
Taylor.
it's John Bon Jovi.
Santana.
Yeah, there we go, Santana, as Jim says. But
Ozzy
the only reason why this might sell is when this story leaks out. Who's doing this? And all of a sudden, all these fans will
bang! It'll be a cult classic because everybody's gonna want to get it because so and so did it.
Exactly. That's
another gimmick.
That's the only thing. And the story was bad. I didn't like it at all. You know, it was on glossy paper, which was nice, but that's about it.
Dump the money into something that they think's gonna
not
be
worth it unless you find out who it's by and you run out and buy a copy.
Walk
you know what tough as nails, when all else fails, call nerves of steel. You better watch out.
Well, that's it for this week. We got a couple quick news items as we wrap things up here. Steve, give us our closing.
Okay, as we say each and every week, buy a comic. Just don't throw it on a shelf. Read it, take care of it, and then put it on the shelf. But make sure you read it. That's what comics are being printed for, to be read. So make sure you do. So next time you patronize your local comic shop, tell them you've seen it on COMX-TV. See ya.
Okay, and as we're rolling credits here, Comic Fest apparently is going to be suing Wizard because they bowed out of their agreement to present the Wizard Awards at Comic Fest, possibly, and apparently Defiant might be defunct. We'll try and get you more information next week. We haven't been able to contact anybody.
Yeah, Jim Shooter won't come over for dinner.
We haven't had calls returned or anything, so there's a good chance that we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
COMX-TV. COMX-TV.